It's time once again to catch up with the mayor of New Hope, Kathi Hemken, to see what's new in the city of New Hope and what you need to know. Welcome, Mayor. How are you today?
Oh, thanks, Dave. I'm enjoying this little bit cooler weather, soon to end again. Get warm.
Yes, we'll take a few days of 80-degree. That's just fine. We've got a lot to touch on in the city of New Hope. Let's begin with the Rave Awards. We've talked about this process all the way through. Judging now been completed, so we're getting ready to present some awards.
So we sent out the list to get the rocks engraved because we give them a rock if they want one. And that'll happen on the 28th of August. So that'll happen at the council meeting. It's always kind of fun to see the projects that have been submitted and the ones that win. The 28th of August at the council meeting.
All right. Here's something you may hear about on occasion from the city. It's the Community Development Block Grant Funds. Mayor, help us understand a little bit more. What are these? How has it changed a little bit in past years? And how are those funds looking to be used?
Well, this has been going on for quite some time. The Hennepin County used to give the cities money to distribute to charities or nonprofits of our choosing. Well, they thought that was too hard for some, like the YMCA would have to go to all the cities to get a bit of money. So now Hennepin County distributes the money themselves. So New Hope gets a portion of that. So two of our low-income housing projects, Kings Manor and Bass Lake Road Crossings, those two are getting money to replace their boilers. Both of them are low-income housing, and there's 223 families that live in those two units that are 80% or below the area medium average. So this is a really good project. Another project in New Hope is a $50,000 grant from Hennepin County to Habitat for Humanity to look at a house to perhaps upgrade from Habitat.
Very good. We'll touch on that a little bit later. Code enforcement assessment notifications, something else we've been following through its process, and this looks like it's about to come to a close as well.
It is. When we first started talking this was about $300,000 that was owed to the city for either unpaid water bills or citations that they'd gotten that they didn't pay. So we've been kind of working on that. There came a time when you could no longer pay the fee. It was just going to get assessed. So now it's down to $79,000. We've sent out 40 letters to the people that owe money saying this is going to show up in your taxes next year. So that's how we recoup the money. Basically, we buy the water from Minneapolis, and when people use it, whether it's because they've got a runny faucet or they actually use it, and they have to pay for it because otherwise the rest of the residents do. So we assess their taxes to get that payment for the water and the citations that they've been issued.
Let's hop ahead to scattered site housing under community development. Number of properties to touch on this week. The first is 3611 Louisiana. We've talked a lot about that, and it looks like the lot is getting ready to be sold.
On the 28th of August, we're closing on it. We have a developer who's interested in that. So the 28th, we'll close on that. And then you'll see a house go up there pretty quickly after that.
And speaking of houses going up, let's hop over to 42nd and Boone. House going up very quickly there. What's the latest progress?
Well, it's got a roof.
Yay.
So that's exciting. It's starting to look like a real house. So that one will get finished before they start work on the north one. That's on the market for $469. Just for people that are interested, right now there's a utility pole right in the middle of the lot. So that utility pole is going to be moved by XL Energy. So they're not going to have to drive around it. They'll move it to one side or the other.
Very nice. 4965 Winnetka. Let's talk again about that property, which has a lot of work going on with public safety throughout the city for some training.
Well, this one's kind of exciting because it's a double lot and it's not real near a house. So we're able to use it for some of our training. We had our canine training in there last month. The fire department is going in to do a non-destructive training in August, and then they'll do a live burn in October. Of course, all the residents in the area will be notified that that's going to happen. After that live burn, then we'll go out for bids on a demolition contract to remove the blocks and the trees and the things that have to be removed. After that's done and we clear the land, then we'll go out to the builders to find a builder to put. Actually, we're going to divide the lot and put two houses on that lot. So this is an exciting process.
All right, we'll keep you up to date as that moves along. Another property moving along is 5802, and that is on Boone Avenue as well. Tell us what the latest is there.
The land is cleared. There's no house there. We're really excited. On the 28th, that also comes to the Economic Development Authority. And we will then, we'll get a builder at that one.
Okay.
So these builders will submit their plans. We'll look at them and then we'll pick a builder for a house on that.
Final property to update residents on is a new one added to the list, 8408 28th Avenue North. Give us a little history on this property and what some of the options are.
Well, we always go out and look at the property and see if it makes sense to do that. We have to have a decent return on our investment. If the property is too expensive or needs too much work, we'll turn it down. In this particular one, we decided that too much money was going to be spent to renovate that for the city. And so we turned the property down. We did contact Habitat for Humanity, and they may go and look at it and use this 50,000 they got that we talked about before to renovate that house. I don't believe that's a tear down. I believe that's just a renovation if they choose to do that.
All right, more to come on that. Final note under community development, business networking group. They've got some important dates coming up here with, it sounds like, some fun guests.
August 2nd on Wednesday at 8:30, we were going to meet at City Hall. We're going to 7500 42nd Avenue. That's right across from the YMCA. And so Your Authentic Reflections is going to be the host of that. So that's open to both everybody from Crystal or New Hope, not just business owners. So then our September meeting is September 6th at 2 o'clock. That's with the Center for Energy and Environment, and that one will be at City Hall. We're looking for somebody for October. Good Sam's was going to do that in October, but couldn't. And so we're looking for somebody to host that meeting in October.
All right, more information about that group on the city's website, newhopemn.gov. To the police department, a few updates to pass along here, and you were part of a recent meeting to talk with one of our area senators. What was the topic?
I was. Well, the police chief, the city manager, and I met with Ann Rest, and we talked about community policing. As you can remember, that after they passed the budget at the House of Representatives and the Senate, we were actually awarded quite a bit of money, close to $1 million, to do some community engagement with the policing. Ann wanted to know what we had planned to do, and she make sure that she agreed with what we were doing. And it was a very congenial meeting, and a lot was discussed.
Other update from the police department is the swearing in of 2 new officers and the movement of another officer. Give us that update.
Well, when we hire these officers, first they get the background check and all that stuff, and then they're actually on a probation for a whole year. And when that year is up, they get sworn in. By that time, they're pretty familiar with policing. And it's a very emotional time. All the families are in there, and the family pins the badge on the officers. So we swore in 2 officers at that time. And then one of our officers we promoted to sergeant. And that's also a kind of a swearing in process. So it's always fun when we get new officers.
Congratulations to all involved. Let's move ahead to Public Works. A few updates here as this crew is busy as always. A lot going on, including a little bit of work around storm damage.
Well, these guys are doing everything. I love them. So they did some landscaping work at Hidden Valley Park. There was some storm damage at Dorothy Mary Park. And the exciting part was they were doing sewer inspections. So bless their hearts for doing that. They do it. We don't have to.
Fantastic. A lot of work happening under the ground, some work happening on top of the ground. Let's give you a couple updates on a few of the projects. First is the project happening around Xylon and Yukon, and it looks like things are really moving along here and about done.
Well, they're getting their curbing in now. And when they do that, of course, people's yards are disrupted a bit. And so they'll go in and backfill that and do some yard work to just repair the damage that they've done. So that's going to be happening in the next couple of weeks. Just be patient with these guys and do not walk on the curbs. Give them a chance to actually set up and do their thing. The other project is 42nd.
Right.
Oh my goodness. Well, the bridge is still down and it's going to be down for a long time. But from Boone to Gettysburg, they're doing some work there on the water main. So a lot of the folks north of 42nd are being hooked up to temporary water. The intersection of Boone and 42nd is probably going to be closed till the end of August. So find another way to go. It just isn't. And if you do have to drive through neighborhoods, please don't drive fast, because the kids are out of school still and they're not used to having a lot of cars there. So watch for those kids.
Good point. Let's move ahead to Park and Rec, and let's find out what some of the kids may be doing. First item is rave reviews everywhere for Sound of Music. Tell us about the Off-Broadway Music Theater and their great run recently.
It was just fabulous. You know, we changed the times from a Wednesday to Saturday and just did it 2 weeks. So we had 8 performances instead of 9, because there were a lot of little kids in the cast, a lot of grandparents, parents. It was just packed every single day, even in this high heat. It was such a delight to watch these kids perform, and so much fun.
Fantastic show, and we'll be excited to see what they decide to do next year. So it'll be back in July next year. Let's go to a little talk around the world of pickleball, which is booming in the area, and you've got a place where they're looking to maybe help with a little bit of sound from those courts.
Well, at Meadow Lake Elementary School, we changed the tennis courts into pickleball courts. And now they're talking about a noise reduction wall or fence or something. Now, that tells me that the pickleball players are making more noise than the elementary school kids that are on the playground. I don't want to go there on that. But they're looking at some sort of noise reduction on that Meadow Lakes
all right,
pickleball court.
Let's update residents on the work of the city forester. Busy time of the year for that staff person. What are they up to these days?
Well, he's going around putting orange dots on trees, and those are the boulevard trees or the park trees that need to come down because they're ash trees. So he's doing that, but the trees that were planted in the parks, he's watering them, and so they're just making sure that they're going to be okay. I understand that at Little Acre Park, we have an urban orchard, and those orchard trees are bearing fruit now.
Wonderful.
So if you haven't seen the fruit on the trees, go by Little Acre Park to look at that. Well, the other thing that's happening is because of this dry weather, people aren't mowing as much, and they've got more weeds in their yards. And so the forester, they can only be so tall, and the forester comes and reminds you that you need to mow. And they're also following up on a lot of residents' complaints about yards that aren't being mowed and taken care of. So there's a lot of that stuff going on, and he's so busy right now.
Yeah, a little tough with those temperatures out there. Let's hop around to 3 park and rec facilities to give you a quick update of some of the activities going on. The first is the golf course, busy as ever.
Busy as ever, and it looks just fabulous. Just a little side note, the geese are learning how to fly. Oh. And so they're practicing flapping their wings, and they get off the ground for about 3 feet, and then they land. So pretty soon the geese are going to be gone. I hope.
Yes.
But so golf is still open. I'll call for a tea time because there's leagues. They're starting to get the fall leagues scheduled now too. But there's a lot of open golfing going on. The golf course is just gorgeous. As you can see.
Yes, it looks beautiful. Over to the ice arena we go. Busy there as well, not only with activities now, but also some planning for future months.
So a couple of our camps are done, but they're still doing the attitude goaltending. I have no idea about that at all.
Right.
But the high schools have quit their camps now. They're done with that. And the other thing they're doing is they're scheduling fall and winter ice time. I don't want to talk about it.
No, that's enough for that, right? We'll talk about that in the coming weeks. Let's go over to the aquatic park. Busy as always here during this hot time of the year, but you have a couple dates of special activities and also, hate to say it, closing date to remind people about.
They are. Well, first of all, the bad news. The closing is going to be the 20th of August. And we do that because our lifeguards, some of which are college kids, are getting ready to go back to school. So the 20th of August will be the last date. However, the lap swimming and the water walking, that's at like 9 to 11:45 Monday through Friday. That will be over at the 11th of August. Okay. So if you want to do any of that, now is the time to do that. So the other thing is the tot time. So this coming Saturday, the 5th, from 9:45 to 10:45, that's when you can bring your 0 to 5-year-olds, and they can play in the pool on Saturday mornings before the other kids get there. The kids need to have a pass to get in, but the parents get in free to tend to the children. So the tot time has been a huge success. And the kids get to play in the water without the big kids in there.
Sounds good. Get out there and use that pool. To human resources we go. A couple updates to pass along. The first two related to the police department. We've got a new staff person and also some interviewing going on.
We got a new police clerk, and she was orientated last week and did some training. And now after her training's done, she'll move on to the second shift. So she'll be our new chief or our new clerk. So we also applied for a CSO. We got 13 applicants. And 9 of them came back for an interview. So we'll be interviewing for CSO as the community service officer. So we'll be interviewing and hiring one of them.
All right, more to come as that moves along. One other position that has opened up is a maintenance worker. And what is that process? I understand in the internal stage right now.
So typically in a city, you have to post the job internally for a period of time. And if you don't get 2 qualified applicants, then you can go outside to post it. Well, we've posted it internally. We did not get the 2 qualifying applicants. And so we're going to go outside now with that position.
In our updates, we love to talk about this little magazine, the In Motion, and we've always loved this picture for the past couple months, but there is a new one coming out. We don't know what the picture is, Mayor, but it's going to be packed of information. When does this come out?
Well, it went to the printer and they're telling me it's going out the first part of August.
Okay.
So I would think by the 15th, you should see it in your mailbox. They do send it to all the apartment buildings. They do send it to all the houses. But for some reason, if you don't get one or if you want a second one, you can always go into City Hall and pick one up. They're really nice to kind of give to the grandparents. They can see what kind of activities they might want to get a gift card for their grandchildren, so that help defray some of the costs. Also in that In Motion, it tells you about getting some financial help if you need help with one of the classes that you want to sign up your children for or you. So you have to go to City Hall to do that. All classes, they've got classes for kids, they've got classes for adults, they've got ones with parents involved, but they all fill up very quickly. So do look at that and sign up as soon as you can for those classes that you want to do for the fall and winter.
Great advice. One final note to pass along, something you may have heard about and maybe you already have taken part in, is the City Services Survey. Again, Mayor, when did this information come out and in what way?
Well, we've been doing this with the state of Minnesota since 2011, and it's a volunteer program. We send out this survey as it went in the utility bills. So if you got one in your utility bill, fill it out. You can either email it back or you can go on the computer and do it that way. You can drop it off at City Hall, just put it in that drop slot that you put your bill in. If you did not get a survey, if you lived in an apartment or you just didn't get one and you threw it away, you can go online and fill it out there, or you can go into City Hall and get a paper copy. It's only 19 questions. It takes you about 10 minutes. The consul and staff read every single one of them. So if there's some things you want to tell us that we could do better, or we shouldn't be doing that anymore, or thank you very much, you're doing a wonderful job, we want to know all of that, because we're here to serve the people. We really want to do that. So do that survey. It's a good way of contacting us.
All right, and here's that website again, the very valuable information to find out about the survey and other things happening in the city, newhopemn.gov. Stick with us. We've got an update of some events happening in the city that you might want to put on your calendar. Mayor, thanks once again for your time. Look forward to talk to you again soon.
I'll see you soon, Dave. Bye-bye. Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.